Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah and it is time to pick out my April TBR. So first and foremost, this is how I've got things going right now. So I do 5 throws to pick 5 prompts. If I get a prompt for a second time, I have a list that I keep track of all of my prompts, and if I get one twice, then I add in an extra throw. Since I am only doing 5, it is just twice. And also, I added in last month that if I haul more books in a month, then I actually end up reading, that I need to add in another throw on top of that. However, when I did my throws, I forgot to do that extra throw, and so I decided that I have all my prompts right here, and we're just gonna randomly choose one instead of setting everything up to go and throw the knife once and come back in and film. So I'm just gonna pick one of my prompts randomly. So I've got them all spread out. You can't see what they are, and we're just gonna pick one. So a sci-fi. Okay, cool. So let me go grab the sci-fi that I want to pick up, and I will be right back. Okay, so the sci-fi that I am going to read for this prompt, which is because I hauled 10 books and I've only actually finished 7 books so far this month. And for that one, I'm going to read Red Rising by Pierce Brown. I've said in my past videos that I do allow myself now to swap out books as I go through the month because it might not be what I'm in the mood for. But Red Rising, I've heard amazing things about this series, and I'm really curious to try it out and see what I think of it. I know my husband wants to read it too, and I've heard this one is like kind of like the Hunger Games for adults, which really intrigues me. And I don't know how accurate that is, but I really want to try it and see what I think of it. So all it says on the back, it says, his wife taken, his people enslaved, driven by a longing for justice and the memory of lost love, Darrow will stop at nothing to bring down his enemies, even if he must become one of them to do so. For the first time, Red will rise. So it sounds really good, and I'm really excited to try it out. So this is a very fun addition to my April TBR. Okay, so now that that is out of the way, like I said, I do 5 throws, and if I get an extra, or if I get a prompt for the second time, then I add in an extra throw. I do allow myself to be able to swap out books as I go through the month because my mood is constantly changing. However, I'm hoping that the books I pick out this month, I've kind of associated them with videos that I have planned better than I usually do. So hopefully I actually get to most of these, and I don't know, we'll see how it goes. I have a lot of plans for April. However, my son is in baseball again, and so things are going to be wild and very, very busy in April, and May's not going to be any better. So I'm hoping for the best. Like I said, I have read 7 books so far this month, only 3 of which were actually a part of my TBR. So going over that quickly, the prompts that I had, my first prompt was a library book, and while I have a lot of library books checked out right now, I have not read any of them, so that prompt is unfulfilled as of right now. Prompt number 2 was to start a series. I chose The Unspoken Name by A.K. Larkwood. I have not read that one. However, I did read The Rogue King by Abigail Owen, and I gave it 5 stars. I loved it, and that is the start of a romantasy series, so I did fulfill that prompt. The third one was a dad pick, and he chose The Women by Kristen Hanna, historical fiction set around the Vietnam War, or The Fury by Alex Michaelides, and I have not read either of those, so that one is unfulfilled at this point as well. The next one I had was a wild card. I chose Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel, and I haven't read that one. However, I did read The Resurrectionist by E.B. Hudspeth, I think is how you pronounce it, so that did count. And I really enjoyed that one too. I gave that one 4 stars as well. The next one I had was my husband choosing a book for me, and he said to read either The Fury of the Gods by John Gwynne or The Wolf by Leo Carew. Again, I picked up neither one of those, and I really want to read Fury of the Gods, but I just keep putting it off. So that one is unfulfilled. The next one that I had was a book treat, and for that one I chose Every Time I Go on Vacation Someone Dies. However, about a week after I filmed my TBR for March, I remembered that The Radiant King by David Dalglish was coming out, so I bought that on the day that it was released, and I did read that one, and I gave it 5 stars. I also have all my thoughts in a video for that one with an author spotlight that I can link down below if you'd like to check that out. And last but not least was a pet pick, and the one that my dog chose was The Last Murder at the End of the World by Stuart Churton, and I just haven't gotten to that one yet. I still really want to read it, but I just haven't gotten there. So that is 3 out of 6 prompts fulfilled as of right now. It's been a wild month, you guys. My reading has been all over the place. So all being said, let's get into our throws and see what I got for April. All right, so my first throw for April, I got a secret TBR prompt. And for that one, I decided to go with Hunt on Dark Waters by Katie Robert. This is a romantasy book that between a sea captain, a pirate captain, something along those lines, and a witch. And it says, Evelyn is a witch with a perfect storm of impulses, terrible taste in bed partners, sticky fingers, and a lust for danger. After she steals from her vampire ex and falls through a portal to another realm, she's fished out of the water by a band of seafarers and their telekinetic captain. She's immediately given a choice, join their ship's crew or die. Bowen has no memory of his life before he became one of the Swin and Win. He and his band of pirates are bound by vow to patrol through Threshold, the magical sea between realms, keeping the portals to other worlds safe. When he rescues Evelyn, he doesn't expect to be attracted to the unflappably brassy pickpocket. The longer he spends in her presence, the more he begins to question if his heart is the next thing she'll steal. So it sounds like it's going to be really good. I'm very excited to read this one. I've had it on my TBR for a minute now, and so I'm really excited to get to it. And hopefully I like it. I've been loving the romantasy books here lately, and so I'm really hoping to get into this one and enjoy it. Throw number 2 got me a standalone, and for that one I decided to go with a thriller that I'm highly anticipating, and that is by an author I've read from before. That is Kill for Me, Kill for You by Steve Kavanaugh. I previously read 13 by him at the suggestion of my brother-in-law, and I loved it. I thought it was such an interesting perspective, so I'm very excited to read this one. This one, it says, one dark evening on New York City's Upper West Side, 2 strangers meet by chance. Over drinks, Amanda and Wendy realize they have much in common, especially loneliness and the intense desire for revenge against the men who destroyed their families. As they talk into the night, they come up with the perfect plan. If you kill for me, I'll kill for you. In another part of the city, Ruth is home alone when the beautiful brownstone she shares with her husband Scott is invaded. She's attacked by a man with piercing blue eyes who disappears into the night. Will Ruth ever be able to feel safe again while the blue-eyed stranger is still out there? As these storylines collide in this Hitchcockian and heart-racing psychological thriller, Kill for Me, Kill for You grips you and doesn't let go until the shocking conclusion. So I'm really excited to try this. Steve Kavanaugh had a really great way of writing in 13, and so I'm really excited to try out some more from him. Now I need to change my battery, and I will be right back with the rest of my TBR. Okay, so I'm back. I have a fresh battery. So the next prompt that I got is a 3-word title. And for that one, I decided to go with The Wishing Game by Meg Schaffer. Now, I was really curious to try this one because it is pitched as like Willy Wonka, but a book manuscript. And it's basically, I believe, a teacher who's trying to adopt a kid, and that's who she takes with her. But I also just heard a review from Kayla from Books and Lala reading this book, and she hated it. So I'm a little nervous, but I want to read it and see what I think of it. So it says, during her lonely childhood, Lucy Hart found solace in Jack Masterson's Clock Island books. Now at teacher's age, she shares her love of reading with Christopher, a former student she'd give anything to adopt if only she could afford it. Just when Lucy is about to give up, the famously reclusive writer announces that he's finally written a new book, and he's holding a contest at his home on the real Clock Island to win the only copy. Winning the most sought-after book in the world could change Lucy and Christopher's lives, but with wily opponents, the book's distractingly handsome illustrator, and Jack Masterson himself to contend with, that won't be as easy as she wishes. So I'm not entirely sure what to make of this book, because Kayla, I respect her opinion very, very highly. Her and I tend to have similar tastes in books, and so I don't know if I'm gonna like this one or not, but I am going to try it out this month and see what I think of it. If I don't like it, then it will be one less book on my shelves. So we'll see. Next prompt that I got is an A to Z author's surname. So I have, once it loads again, my picker wheel right here. Let it focus for a second, and we will spin and see what letter I get for an author's surname. Why is that taking so long? There we go, L. Or no, that's J. I'm sorry, J. I was looking at it backwards. So we got the author last name, J. Now I'm going to go into my handy dandy spreadsheet here that shows all the books that I own, and we'll see what I have. So I have The Woman with Two Shadows by Sarah James, Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez, The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson, The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan, and then the other two books I have with an author's surname starting with J, I've either unhauled or I've already read. So I think out of those choices, I think I'm going to have to go with Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. I have heard such amazing things about that book. I know that a lot of people had it in their top books of 2024 last year, and I have not read any of the other books in that series, so hopefully that's okay. And I'm excited to read it. That one, as far as I know, is basically that this guy and the girl meet because they both have the same issues, that whoever they date and break up with goes on to meet their true love with the next person they date and fall in love and get married and whatnot. And so that's how they meet, and they kind of come together hoping that by going out with each other that they can kind of cancel out each other's curses. Kind of like, at least from what I hear, it makes me think of like Good Luck Chuck, except instead of sex it's just dating. And so that's what I think of. So I've heard it's really, really, really good. And so I'm really curious to try it out. And I keep putting it off once again, but we are going into April. And so I was wanting to wait until it was more like warm outside to read it. And so this, I think, will be the perfect opportunity to read it. And so we will add Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez on for A to Z author surname. It's in the other room, but I'm not going to go grab it right now. Next up, we got a romance, and so this is the second time that I've gotten this prompt, and so I have to add in another throw, but that's okay. And for this one, I decided to go with The Bodyguard by Catherine Center. This one, I've heard great things about Catherine Center. I really want to read, I think it's Hello Stranger. I want to try that one, but this is the one that I have, but I've never read anything from this author before. It says, she's got his back. Hannah Brooks looks more like a kindergarten teacher than somebody who could kill you with a corkscrew, or a ballpoint pen, or a dinner napkin. But the truth is, she's an executive protection agent, aka bodyguard, and she just got hired to protect superstar actor Jack Stapleton from his middle-aged corgi breeding stalker. He's got her heart. Jack Stapleton's a household name. He's captured by paparazzi on beaches the world over and famous for, among other things, rising out of the waves in all manner of clingy board shorts and glistening like a Roman deity. But a few years back, in the wake of a family tragedy, he dropped from the public eye and went off the grid. They've got a secret. When Jack's mom gets sick, he goes home to the family's Texas ranch to help out. Only one catch. He doesn't want his family to know about his stalker or the bodyguard thing. And so Hannah, against her will and better judgment, finds herself pretending to be Jack's girlfriend as a cover, even though her ex says no one will believe it. What could possibly go wrong? Hannah hardly believes it herself, but the more time she spends with Jack, the more real it all starts to seem, and therein lies the heartbreak, because it's easy for Hannah to protect Jack, but protecting her own long-neglected heart, that's the hardest thing she's ever done. Okay, so that sounds really cute. So it's basically like fake dating and bodyguard kind of situation, and she's a bodyguard. So I'm really intrigued to try this now. That definitely piqued my interest again, reading the synopsis all the way through. And so I'm really excited to have this one for my romance. I want to pick up some that are a little bit more lighthearted and fun this month. And these are usually pretty quick to get through. They're not very big books and they're pretty easy reads. So I'm really excited to have a couple of romance books on here. All right, and last but not least, for my additional throw, I got a book with an animal on the cover. And this one probably is going to seem like it should wait until the fall, but I don't really want to. And it sounds like it's going to be really cute and kind of like giving me the vibes of very Secret Society of Irregular Witches, but not quite, because she hasn't come out with another book yet. Still, it's supposed to be... Sangu Mandana's new book is supposed to be coming out in July, is the latest that I've seen. But I'm not holding out too much hope, because every time that it's supposed to have come out, it gets pushed back more. So I'm crossing my fingers a little bit, but I'm not holding out too much hope. But anyways, the book that I'm picking for an animal on the cover, they are right here. There's bats. That is an animal. A bat on the cover, and that is The Only Purple House in Town by Anna Guire. This one sounds like it's going to be a really cute, cozy fantasy. It says, in a magical town like St. Clair, anything is possible. Iris Collins is the messy one in her family, the chaos bunny. Her sisters are all wildly successful, while she can't balance her budget for a single month. It's no wonder she's in debt to her roommates. When she unexpectedly inherits the house from her great aunt, her plan to turn it into a B&B fails, as most of her plans do. She winds up renting rooms like a Victorian spinster, collecting other lost souls, and not all of them are human. Eli Reese grew up as the nerdy outcast in school, but he got rich designing apps. Now he's successful by any standards, but he's never had the same luck in finding a real community or people who understand him. Over the years, he's never forgotten his first crush, so when he spots her at a cafe, he takes it as a sign. Except when he gets sucked into the Iris verse and somehow ends up renting out one of her B&B rooms. As the days pass, Eli grows enchanted by the misfit boarders staying in the house, and even more so by Iris. Could Eli have finally found a person and a place to call home? So again, this one sounds super cute. And it's just, I like all the found family in books, and it sounds like this is going to be another one of those. And so hopefully I will get to this one as well. All right, so that is it, guys. I didn't go too crazy, I think, on the length of the books that I'm reading, but we'll see how I actually do in April. I have lots of plans for videos, and hopefully everything works out like I want it to, and that I can time everything correctly. But like I said, things are going to be kind of crazy with my son doing baseball. Some nights we might not get home until 9 or 10 o'clock, and so with the kids going to school the next morning, that's not always the greatest thing. But overall, these are the 6 books that I have, plus Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. Like I said, that one's in the other room. So we have some thrillers, we have some romance, we have a little bit of sci-fi and magical realism, romantasy type books. And so I'm really excited for all of these. If you have read any of these and have thoughts that you would like to share with me, I would love to hear what your thoughts are for all of these if you've read them. And keep an eye out for blogs that will hopefully include these books in it. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe down below, and I will see you next week, or I guess on the 1st, hopefully, with another video. Bye.